we're going to examine this oxygen 1s peak. It's got an obvious peak, and it also has a feature here in the background shape that looks a bit like a step. So we're going to use this to illustrate how you can calculate an offset between two features within a spectrum. And we'll do this using regions. I'll add a linear background to the peak. And the idea is that this region is going to identify the position of the peak. And so what we'll do is we will give that the name O1s peak. Then we're also interested in trying to identify the position associated with this step in the background. So we'll create another region here, and this time we will use an edge down background type. And an edge down background type is an error function, and what we're going to do is indicate an interval over which we should calculate a step based on this error function. And we can do this by pressing the regions button, and that will calculate this error function fitted to the data, and the line indicates the position where this background in the form of an error function is indicating where a horizontal line intersects with a tangential line with this point of inflection in the error function. So let's now give that a name, and the reason that names are important is that this calculation is going to be performed using the custom report, and the custom report will allow us to specify values based on names. So distinct names are important, and if I press the regions button here in the custom report, it copies through the region names. So this is the starting point for the calculation. And going back, if I want to calculate the position rather than the area, I need to modify this region and give it a keyword which is position for the tag field, and it should be lowercase, and case does matter here, so both of these regions are going to be assigned tag fields of position, so that when I go to the report spec page and look at the custom report, I then have an option that says tag defined report. So because they say position when I say in the tag fields, when I press this button, you'll see that the values for these peak and step regions are calculated to be the kinetic energy for these from the positions for those regions. So if I want to work out the offset, I can right click and let's call it shift, and instead of just giving one of the names, I can enter a formula, and in this case I'm going to say O1s peak, and that was the name of the region, minus O1s step, and that was the other region, and then I say insert, so that I now have three expressions. I've got my kinetic energy for the peak and the step, and then I've got the difference between these two values, so that rather than just seeing these two values here, I can say tag defined report, and I've calculated based on the values for the positions determined from the regions the offset between the peak maximum and the position for the step.